Good morning! I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Happy Monday sa lahat ng mga ka-brunch natin and thank you for joining us for another week of wowing stories.
Oo nga, at June na, panibagong month
Uy,
na naman.
June na ba? Oh my, it's a new month. So panibagong opportunity para magbagong buhay.
Yes, another chance to get it right, ika
Oo.
nga. At ganun din, no? Nakakagitna na tayo ng taon pala.
January, February, March,
Oo,
April,
6 na eh.
months.
6 months na tayo na 2024.
So si Jose Merichan sumisilip na ba?
Maganda na siya.
Gumaganda na. Alright.
Pero yun nga, before that, marami muna tayong mga pag-uusapan.
Ano kaya yun? We're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Kicking off our countdown with our Filipino boxers. 2 more boxers are joining Team Philippines for the Paris Olympics. Sergi Bacyadan overpowered Marielis Yirisa of Venezuela for a unanimous decision in the women's 75-kilogram division duel. This came after Carlo Paalam overwhelmed Indian Sachin Siwach, also via unanimous decision in the men's 57-kilogram class. They are joining fellow pugs Yumir Marcial, Nesty Petesio, and Ira Villegas in the chase of glory in the Paris Games.
Yan. 5 Filipino
Oo.
boxers na para sa Paris. And this is our 15th, tama ba?
Yan si Nesty.
Na entry sa Olympics.
Nesty
na
performed
athletes.
well in the last what tournament was that? Performed well naman. Magagaling yung mga yan. Siyempre.
Tuwang-tuwa nga sila kasi makikita sila ulit sa Paris, di ba?
Sabi nila, may laban ba ang China-Philippines sa boxing?
Oo nga. Kaya yan.
Kaya.
Alright, dun pa rin tayo sa sports. Meanwhile, in PBA, Meralco Bolts is advancing to the Philippine Cup Finals after disposing Barangay Ginebra in Game 7 of the semis. With a 78-69 win, this is the first time the Bolts outsmarted the Gin Kings in their 4 previous best-of-7 battles. Chris Banchero led the Bolts with 24 points and 6 rebounds, while Chris Newsome supplied 20 points and 6 assists. The Bolts will face defending champs San Miguel Beermen on Wednesday, June 5 at the Araneta Coliseum. You can also catch this live at RPTV and PBA Rush on Signal TV and on Pilipinas Live app. May mga ano pa rin yan nakikita ko sa Facebook, yung mga diehard fans ng Ginebra.
Oo, matindi ang fanbase ng Ginebra.
Oo.
Pero siyempre tayo, Meralco tayo.
Oo nga. Siyempre, Team Meralco.
Team Meralco tayo. Okay, next na tayo. Coming in at top 9, nearly 2 million Meralco customers in Luzon suffered power interruptions on Saturday. The power distributor says it implemented rotational power interruptions that lasted for an average of over an hour. Affected areas include Batangas, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Metro Manila, Pampanga, Rizal, and Quezon Province. This was conducted to limit demand due to supply deficiency following the declaration of red alert status. Meralco said its services were fully restored by past 11 p.m. on Saturday. Yes,
Oo,
sa area natin.
Nakaranas dyan Oo, nung weekend sa area natin. Yung iba naman nakaka-receive naman, in fairness, ng mga advisory ahead of its
planned naman.
Scheduled rotational brownout.
Basta nakalagay lang parang possible brownout in these areas during this time.
Tapos in some areas, yung sinabi nila na it will be restored by 11 p.m., actually it was restored earlier pa. Restored earlier pa. Like mga 10:30,
kasi
ganun.
dahil sa El Nino, di ba, yung mga ibang dams natin nag-dry up ng konti.
Right.
Kasi yung iba naka-maintenance shutdown, hindi pa nag-online lahat ng mga plants natin. Kaya yung supply for the metro and several areas sa Luzon, medyo manipis daw.
So, are we going to be expecting another round of rotational brownout? Yan ang hindi natin alam. Alamin
Magagalit
natin.
magagalit niyan si SB Cheese.
Oh.
Di ba? Kasi
Ayaw
yun
niya
ang
yan
yung mga unang binanggit niya, yung power issues ng Pilipinas Ay, nako.
Sa ibang mga areas naman, magkakaroon ng mga regular maintenance activities
Yes.
ng tubig.
Tubig, yeah.
So, tingnan nila yung mga advisory.
Nagsabay ang water and electricity noong
Yeah,
weekend, di ba?
Yung weekend, parang Maynila yun eh. This
Maynilad.
week, Manila Water naman. So abangan nila yan. Check nila dun sa mga Facebook page or
Mag-ready
official
na sila.
website ng water concessionaire nila kung saan areas yon. Okay, let's move on with our next topic for the day. Mainit-init to. Ranking 8th in our countdown is vaping. The Health Department renewed their warnings against vaping products after confirming the first vape-related death in the country. DOH said a 22-year-old man died of heart attack last year following a severe lung injury caused by his daily vape usage for 2 years. The man had no known comorbidities before he was rushed to the emergency room. In light of this, Health Assistant Secretary Albert Domingo expressed worry about the rise of vape usage among the youth.
Sa madaling salita, yung kakayahan ng baga na huminga ay nababawasan. Nakikita yan dati sa matatanda lamang. Pero ngayong ang mga bata ang nagve-vape, nakikitaan na ng mga pediatrician. Sabi nga kahapon nung kasama namin mga pediatrician, dati-dati ang hindi sila tumitingin ng kaso ng COPD in the young.
To talk more about this, we have lifestyle medicine specialist Dr. Dex Macalintal.
Good morning, Doc.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you again for joining us today.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, so I understand hindi naman ikaw yung attending physician itong 22-year-old man who died from vape related illness. Pero paano po ba, 'di ba? Ano po ba yung dahilan? Pwede po ba talaga na mamatay ang isang tao na gumagamit ng vape?
Well, marami naman kasing mga documented cases na nagkakaroon ng problema ang mga tao kapag sila ay nagve-vape. No? Nauna na dyan yung sinasabi natin na patagal na natin sinasabi na tungkol sa vaping use associated lung injury o
Right.
nagkakaroon nga ng problema sa lung katulad ng sinabi ng Assistant Secretary natin kanina. However, bukod dyan, no, meron din mga documented reports hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas kundi sa ibang bansa na nagkakaroon din ng problema sa puso. No? Merong isang documented sa Missouri, sa Kansas City, Missouri, na isang 13-year-old male na naka-experience din ng sudden cardiac arrest naman ito after vaping multiple times throughout the day. No, so sa loob ng isang araw, no, nagve-vape siya, nagkaroon ng problema sa puso. Although ito kasing isang pasyenteng ito ay mayroong problema din naman talaga sa kanyang coronary arteries. Pero bukod doon, no, ang isang sinasabi dito ay nagkakaroon kasi ng problema sa pagtibok ng puso dahil sa mga doses ng nicotine at iba pang mga chemical na mayroon dito sa vape. This is isa sa mga first published case reports ng vaping-associated cardiac arrest sa mga bata na 13 years old. No? So, doon pa lang makikita natin, 13 years old. O, yung sa atin, dito sa Pilipinas, that's 20 plus, 22. So, mapapansin natin, pabata nagkakaroon talaga ng problema sa puso dahil dito. Although, sabi nga, meron niyang underlying symptom or underlying problem. Dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, wala yung underlying problem. Pero, ayon din naman sa mga reports ng American Heart Association, nakitaan na yung mga pasyente na nagve-vape o gumagamit ng mga e-cigarettes, no, at pati yung mga other combustible cigarettes natin, merong increases in blood pressure, heart rate, no, blood vessel constriction immediately after doing vaping or smoking kumpara do sa mga hindi gumagamit ng kahit na anong smoking paraphernalia. You know,
Doc Dex, no? Kasi kaya siguro lumakas tong vape or nauso tong vape is because a lot of quitters ng pagsisigarilyo mismo transferred to vaping, and they claim that when they started vaping, hindi na daw sila naghahanap ng sigarilyo. Ngayon, Doc, ano yung reaction mo dito? Second, ano ang difference in severity of symptoms ang vape versus cigarettes? Kasi ang understanding namin sa vape, it's very similar to nebulizing or yung pagsispray ng asthma pag inihika ka, na dumidiretso sa blood, yung na-absorb ng katawan mo kaagad. So therefore, yung reaction is severe. Totoo ba ito, Doc?
Okay, yung reaction ko muna na sinasabi daw ng mga naninigarilyo na sila ay hindi nang tagahanap ng sigarilyo pagka sila ay nagve-vape kasi iba rin yung hinahanap nila. Ito na, no, sa mas maraming chemical, no, merong ibang mga chemical na sabihin na natin na wala man sa sigarilyo ay meron sa vape, no. Minsan ito rin yung hinahanap nila. Una, mas mabango. Pangalawa, mas masarap amuyin, no. Hindi babaho masyado sa kanilang sistema o sa kanilang mga mas mabango sa palagay nila. No, kasama pa rin natin diyan ay sabihin na rin natin na Iba na kasi nga yung nagre-rewire yung utak ng tao. Ay sige, wag mong hanapin yung sigarilyo, pero ito yung hanapin mo. And then, ang problema naman natin ay dahil nga ito yung hinahanap-hanap mo, ang next naman dyan ay yung damage na ibinibigay nito sa'yo. No, dahil nga sabihin na natin na iba man yung chemical na mayroon sa vape, sa cigarettes.
Yeah.
Pero tama kayo, no? Severe din naman yung epekto nito sa inyong mga baga. Siya sabi nga na parang nagde-nebulize, pero ang epekto pa rin nito, katulad pa rin siya ng paninigarilyo. Sabi nga sa mga reports ng American Heart Association, nakita sa mga pag-aaral na ganun pa rin, no, nag-i-increase ng heart rate, nag-i-increase ng inyong blood pressure, nagko-constrict ng blood vessels, kaya nagkakaroon ng problema hindi lamang sa puso kundi sa iba pang bahagi ng katawan. Pati na rin, no, nakita rin nila na mayroong epekto din ito sa mga tao, no. Pinag-aralan din nila kasi na nakita doon sa research nila na yung mga tao na tinetreadmill test, no, yung treadmill exercise measurement, mas tumataas yung problema. Mas nagpipredict nila yung heart disease risk compared do sa mga tao na hindi gumagamit ng kahit na anong form ng nicotine.
Wait.
So halos pareho din.
In relation to that with Angel, Doc Dex, I'd like to ask kasi, of course, yung addiction to nicotine, isa sa mga pangunahing reasons why people continue to smoke cigarettes. Ang question ko is, yung absorption rate ba when you ingest nicotine using vape, is this faster and than actually smoking a cigarette?
Pareho lang halos yung absorption rate nila.
Okay.
No, at saka isa pa, hindi lahat kasi ng vape, no, na sinasabi nila ay walang nicotine, ay wala talagang nicotine. No, at meron din kayong mga maririnig diyan na nagsasabi na yung nicotine ay nakakatulong pa sa kanila. No, so hindi po totoo 'yon. So meron kasing mga misinformation na kumakalat sa internet na okay lamang manigarilyo dahil sa nicotine kasi daw nakakatulong daw ito for a reason. Pero oo, meron maaring silang sinasabi na benepisyo, pero yung harmful effects, no, the risks outweigh the benefits of doing these things. Katulad ganito, namatay ano pa bang mas makaka-benefit doon namatay na nga yung isang tao.
Oo. It's good that you mentioned, no, both you and Diego, about yung sa faster absorption ng nicotine or chemicals in our body using vape. Kasi etong kaso na to, Doc Dex, itong 22 years old na namatay, ay 2 years daw siya dire-diretso na nag-i-e-cigarettes. So, usually kasi 'di ba pagka, well, correct me if I'm wrong, Doc Dex, usually yung mga ibang nadadiagnose ng lung cancer na due to smoking yung traditional cigarettes natin, parang it would take them 15-10 years, 'di ba, ma-accumulate yung nicotine sa lungs sila. Your thoughts on that? So mas mabilis yung absorption ng e-cigarettes, mas mabilis mag-manifest yung sakit.
Well, apparently, sa mga nakikita natin mga kaso ngayon, malaki yung epekto talaga ng vaping sa katawan ng tao, no? Sabi nga natin, magsimula pa lamang itong mga paggamit ng vape, nagkaroon na agad ng mga vaping associated lung injury. So definitely, kung titingnan lang natin yung trend, mukhang talagang mas mataas talaga yung absorption nito. At mas harmful siya.
I was wondering also, Doc Dex, kasi di ba kapag yung traditional cigarettes na ginagamit ng isang tao, meron tinatawag dyan na first hand smoking, second hand, until fourth hand, di ba? Sinasabi nila. Pag dito ba sa vape, ganun din? Masama din ba? Meron din bang second hand smoking coming from vape cigarettes? At ano yung maaring makuha din ng mga, if ever there's such thing as second hand smoking from vape? Ano yung maaaring mga sakit na makukuha din nila?
Yeah, ganun pa rin, dahil nga smoke pa rin siya, dahil meron pa rin siya components ng nicotine, meron din mga chemical na kamukha rin sa smoking, sa cigarette smoke. No, maaari pa rin na magkaroon ng second hand smoke or even third hand smoke, no. Kapansin-pansin din, actually ito sa mga this one is personal na rin. Ito, at saka sa mga kaso na nakikita ko dito sa aking klinika mismo, na yung mga pasyenteng mayroong allergic rhinitis, doon lang tayo sa sobrang simple na allergic rhinitis, na binigyan na ng gamot ng mga doktor nila, no, ng marami na silang napagdaan ng mga doktor. Pagpunta dito, ang hindi lamang natanong sa kanila ay meron bang naninigarilyo sa pamilya ninyo. No? At ang glaring, hindi man naninigarilyo yung tatay o yung nanay, pero nagve-vape parehong magulang. Very apparent pa rin sa mga sintomas ng bata o ng pasyente ang pagkakaroon pa rin talaga nila ng allergic rhinitis. Nandiyan yung nasal crease, tearing, yung kanilang allergic sinners, naririyan pa rin, yung allergic salute. So, based pa lang doon, makikita natin na halos pareho din ang epekto nito sa cigarette smoking at meron pa rin talaga mga second-hand smoke at mga epekto nito sa kanila. So, kapansin-pansin pa rin talaga na hindi nawawala, no? Hindi nawawala pa rin yung lagi nating sinasabi na tigilan nyo na paninigarilyo kasama vaping kasi wala pong mabuting madudulot yan sa mga buhay ninyo.
Alam,
Parehas
si Angel
lang,
Doc na was doing her research kanina. We were reading up about it. Yung vaping pala, yung juices niya sa other
Mga
chemicals that are very dangerous. One of which is formaldehyde, no? And among others, ano ang epekto? Let's talk about formaldehyde kasi alam natin ginagamit to sa, correct me if I'm wrong, no? Sa mga dead bodies to preserve ng patay. Ano ang epekto nito when you ingest this?
Well, kapag sinabi kasi dati na formaldehyde, no? So ito usually ginagamit yan sa mga disinfectants, even mga preservatives or mga paggawa ng mga plastic ninyo. So marami, no? Una, pwede kang magkaroon ng irritation sa mata, magkaroon ng irritation sa ilong, magkaroon ng irritation sa lalamunan, problema sa paghinga, no? Pwede magdulot yan ng pag-uubo ninyo, kaya hindi gumagaling-galing yung pag-uubo ninyo kasi nagve-vape ka nga, pero sabi mo, dati nagsusmoke ka, ngayon nagve-vape ka naman. Pero bakit hindi pa rin natitigil yung pag-ubo mo, yung smoker's cough? So naririyan pa rin yun. No, maaaring dahil nga dito sa formaldehyde na to. Isa pang epekto ng formaldehyde, allergic reactions ninyo. Pinsala sa inyong nervous system. No, pwede, actually, bukod pa dyan, no, yung kinakatakutan natin lahat, siguro naman titigil na siguro sila dito pagka sinabi ko yung cancer. No? Maaari na magkaroon kayo ng cancer kasi ang formaldehyde ay tinuturing na carcinogenic po. No? Sabi mga pag-aaral na may connection nito sa cancer sa ilong, cancer sa lalamunan, posibleng leukemia. No? Kasama rin po dyan ay kung kayo po ay nagbubuntis o may planong magbuntis, no? Maaari po, no? Hindi naman sinasabi na causative siya, pero link siya, no, merong risk factor na pagkakaroon ng komplikasyon sa mga nagbubuntis at magkaroon din ng problema sa kanilang mga dinadalang fetus, no. Yung mga kahit fetus pa lamang yan, pwede magkaroon sila ng problema kapag nalalanghap natin yung formaldehyde.
Dr. siguro ano na lang paalala and what should the health department do, 'di ba, to discourage the youth from trying vape kasi base sa kanilang pag-aaral dito lang sa Pilipinas, Doc Dex, sinabi nga ni Asik Domingo sa amin nakaraan nung in-interview namin siya, as early as 13 years old, meron silang mga pasyente na may severe lung damage na. So this is very alarming.
This is very alarming, no? Kailangan talaga natin ng tamang disinformation talaga. Itong impormasyon na to, kinakailangan nating tanggalin din yung mga disinformation na sinasabi ng mga proponents nito na okay lamang mag-vape, no? So, disinformation na kasi yung nangyayari sa social media sa ngayon. So, we have to be out there, no? We always have to be in the lookout sa mga impormasyon na binibigay ng mga tao dito. At saka, syempre, kinakailangan natin magbigay ng tama ring impormasyon na tanggalin na po natin. Ito po mga ganito klase dapat nga, kung pwede, tanggalin ito sa merkado, mas mainam eh. Meron po talaga tayo sa ating mga kababayan, no, sa ating mga kapatid, meron po talaga tayo mga smoking cessation programs na po pwede pong makaalalay sa inyo kung gusto po ninyong tanggalin ang inyong paninigarilyo. Hindi po vaping ang sagot dyan. No? Meron po tayo mga smoking cessation programs na po pwede pong makaalalay po para sa inyo, para makatigil kayo ng paninigarilyo. Ganon din, no, sa mga kabataan na nanonood, no? Iwasan niyo ito, no? Wala pong magagawang mabuti sa mga buhay ninyo ito. Pati po sa mga magulang, dapat siguro yung mga magulang na naninigarilyo o gumagamit din ito, meron na tayong mga ebidensya na hindi ito maganda sa kalusugan. Huwag niyo na rin pong ituro sa mga bata, no, na sila ay manigarilyo o huwag niyo na rin silang hayaan na makapanigarilyo pa. Kasi again, wala pong mabuting maidudulot ito sa mga buhay nila.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you for that, lifestyle medicine specialist Dr. Dex Macalintal, and for joining us live via Zoom sa Brunch.
Thank you.
Yan. Kung ang pakay mo mag-quit, huwag ka lumipat sa ibang bisyo. Ngayon, if wala kang bisyo at gusto mo magsimula ng bisyo, huwag ka na mag-isip mag-bisyo. Kasi any vices, smoking, vaping, or excessive alcohol.
Ang problema dyan talaga, di ba, pinag-usapan na natin dito over the past weeks, yung bentahan online at saka yung packaging, yung mga flavors na parang na-entice pa yung mga kabataan.
Yun ang keyword doon, yung online. It's so hard to regulate sino bumibili online. Kasi may mga kids na ginagamit yung account ng mga magulang minsan, mag-order ng mga vape. Ayun. So, lack of regulation in selling these things online.
Right? Okay, coming up. Private hospitals in the country have observed an increase in mild cases of COVID-19.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is now in the country for a bilateral meeting with President Marcos.
Alamin natin, ano ba yung mga
Si
pinag-usapan nila o
Ukrainian
pag-uusapan?
President and the former actor.
Yes.
Oh.
Oo. We are just getting started. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. And happy Monday sa ating mga ka-brunch.
Thank
mga
you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We're having problems lang sa signal pero andito pa rin naman kami sa YouTube and of course sa ating Facebook.
So you could watch
Kasi may
us
mga
there.
nagtatanong di ba, nasaan daw tayo.
We're working on it, but you can in the meantime send your comments and suggestions and reactions sa ating mga social media accounts, YouTube and Facebook, as Angel said. Okay.
Pero doon pa rin tayo sa usapan, balikan ko lang yung usapin tungkol sa vape.
Kasi medyo concerning
to, very alarming because may namatay regarding this. Dahil kanina nga pinag-uusapan natin na wala namang comorbidity
Yes.
22 years old na namatay.
Perfectly healthy daw eh.
Perfectly healthy. And then we have news reports also, according to DOH, na as early as 13 years old, may pasyente na merong severe lung damage because of vaping. So, we're also going to talk about this today and let's get more insights about this kasi meron pa tayo isang makakausap for today. Joining us on the line is Parents Against Vape President Reby Relator.
Yun.
Did I
yes, Reby
pronounce
Relator.
your name correctly?
Correct. I guess, no? And good morning, Reby. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning po at good morning sa lahat ng nanonood at nakikinig.
Yes, Revy, let's start off yung yung atin na talakayan. Ano usually ba ang naririnig natin, no, from parents when it comes to their kids using vape products?
Actually, dyan po sa issue na yan, mas kailangan natin ng marami pang edukasyon sa mga parents. Kasi
Right.
marami pong parents ang hindi alam kung ano ang itsura ng vape. So, doon pa lang malaki na yung gap natin. Kasi akala nila, ang mga vapes kasi ngayon maliliit na lang. Parang kwentas.
Parang mga
choker,
USB lang eh.
type. Yes, correct. So, akala ng mga parents, wala lang yon, accessory lang, pero yun pala, bisyo na.
Pero Reby, ano ba, what do you think of the government's efforts when it comes to discouraging the youth, no, from using vape products, especially now kasi kanina pinag-uusapan din namin na even online ito po ay napopromote, easier na mabili siya through online dahil dun sa mga itsura, yung packaging and the flavor. So what do you think po?
Sobra po kaming nakukulangan sa aksyon ng gobyerno. May batas naman tayo, pero sa palagay namin, hindi ito strictly na i-implement. May ginawa po kasi yung Baguio City na study. Saan ba at paano ba nakaka-access ang mga bata na 13 to 15-year-old? Kasi sa batas natin, ang may access nito, 18 years old lang pataas. Pero bakit nakaka-access sila? To the point na 1 in every 7 students nagbe-vape.
Yeah.
Di ba alarming talaga? So, according sa study na ginawa ng Baguio City, alam niyo po ba 24% given by friends or relatives? Parang, oh my gosh, bakit nila nakikitang regalo ito, gift ito? Di ba? Tapos, pangalawa po, sa nakita sa survey na yon, sa study na yon, they bought it online. So, ibig sabihin, kulang na kulang tayo sa regulasyon pagdating sa online stores. Pangatlong mataas na kung saan nila na-access, they bought it from stores, the sari-sari stores.
Oh.
So, di ba,
Wow.
within 200 meters radius from the schools, dapat hindi ito available. So, bakit nakakabili sila at bakit may nagbebenta sa kanila?
Dapat
So,
yung regulation
yes po.
talaga ma-check.
Yes po, kulang na kulang talaga tayo. So nananawagan talaga kami sa LGUs na sana naman paigtingin po nila yung pag-implement ng batas natin.
Yun, and aside from that, no, how do we encourage then yung mga ibang parents that maybe lack information or hindi nila napapansin, nag-vape anak nila, to dissuade their kids from vaping and smoking?
Sa akin po, bilang parent, sana once in a while, mag-spot check din sila. Anong meron sa bags ng mga anak nila? Sisain, ano ba ito? Para saan ito? Alamin din kung saan nagpupunta with friends. Kasi nalaman din namin through mga sharings na di ba medyo may kamahalan po ang mga vape pods. So sabi namin, bakit sila nakaka-access pa din, nakakabili? Yun pala, nag-chip in ang ibang mga group of friends. So, siguro sa parents, alamin talaga saan nag-google ng time ang inyong mga anak kung wala sila sa bahay at wala rin sila sa school.
Alright, on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Reby Relator, ang presidente po ng Parents Against Vape.
Thank you din po sa oras.
Okay. Alright, naku, mainit talaga yung issue na yan. Very alarming dahil nga lagi natin pinag-uusapan
Yeah.
masama ito sa ating kalusugan. Alright, let's move forward with our topics for today. Ako, illegal. Coming at the 7th spot is the illegal selling of babies online. Around 500 Facebook accounts were taken down due to their alleged links to online selling of babies. The Justice Department said they also contacted Meta to remove the posts of people selling babies online. DOJ reminded the public that online baby selling is illegal and people involved in this scheme will face qualified human trafficking charges. Authorities have arrested people for selling babies online, including a mother in Catarman, Northern Samar, last Saturday.
I never really thought na masasabi ko sa isang news item na selling babies online.
Diba?
500 accounts linked to selling babies
Oo.
online.
Dito ba yan? Dito kasi sa atin parang when we were talking about it, kasama yung
Yes.
DSWD,
Yes.
sabi nila yung mga minamanmanan talaga nilang pages were around 20 to 30. And at that time, no, last week, then when we were talking to them,
Hindi pa kasi updated eh.
Oo, and then the time that we were talking to them, sabi nila, up and running pa itong mga Facebook pages
Kasi
na
they're
to.
coordinating with Meta.
And it's good to know that Meta is coordinating with them na rin, is talking with them na rin, para nga ma-shutdown itong mga pages na to.
Kaya now we have discovered 500 accounts linked to selling babies online. Now,
Kasi di ba we had, for context lang, no, para dun sa mga viewers natin, kasi meron ding nahuli during an operation ng authorities natin na may binibenta na baby, yung magulang, binibenta niya yung baby niya for around 50,000 to 90,000. Tapos may middleman pa sa Cavite, if I'm not mistaken.
Kung di nyo maalagaan yung baby nyo, huwag nyo pagkakitaan sa pagbebenta. Ipa-adapt nyo
diba?
na lang.
Hindi po rason ng kahirapan para
Sinabi na
ibenta
ng DSWD,
yung mga
madali
anak.
na yung process to have your baby adopted kung bigyan mo ng magandang buhay. Huwag nyo na pagkakitaan.
Exactly. Mabuti na banggit mo yung madali na proseso kasi nga sinasabi ng ibang tao, ang hirap naman kasi magpaampo dito sa Pilipinas, ang daming mga papeles, ang daming
In-explain na sa atin yun.
In-explain na yan sa atin. Na madali na yan, kausapin nyo lang yung sa regional office ng DSWD kasi any kumbaga transaction ng adoption outside our government's regulation ay illegal po yan.
Oo. Parang even the moral aspect of selling or buying or selling a baby online or even in any market form.
Grabe.
Everything's
online na rin, no? Pati ganyan.
I cannot fathom it.
What they need to look at also, yung bigger picture on this. Ang daming mga Facebook accounts regarding this na kunyari mo, mga kung ano nung tinatago, 'di ba, na transaction, pero yung pala babies online. Kunyari, nagtatanong lang about adoption, yung pala babies online na yung pakay. Tingnan nila kung ito ba ay, kumbaga, ang tawag dito ay ina-administer ng sindikato. Meron bang sindikato dito?
They're all
Yun ang
linked
check
to
nila,
the
bigger
syndicate.
picture.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Gising ka na.
Now heating up on our sixth spot, the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines has reported an increase in COVID-19 cases. Be Happy President Dr. Jose Rene de Grano says, however, that most of the cases were mild. He also noted that most of the patients did not have their booster doses. De Grano says he expects the number of COVID-19 cases to decline in the coming weeks. New variants have been reported, including the KP2 and KP3, known as the flirt variants.
But hopefully nga daw this week may mga pagbaba na ng cases na yan. Pero don't panic, sabi nga nila, although tumataas yung kaso, mild naman ito.
Yeah, but don't panic. Pero at the same time,
be vigilant.
Be vigilant because you don't know how this thing mutates. Although we do have an understanding based on its historical behavior, pero you don't know how it will mutate next. So it's always nice to be safe na lang, di ba?
So alam naman natin yan for the past 4 years, paano tayo lumalaban sa mga ganitong
Lalo
klaseng
na yung
sakit.
mga may comorbidity, mga bata, mga
Yung
matatanda natin.
the
di ba?
vulnerable
Yes.
sector. Kapag inuubo-ubo na, wag nang pumunta sa matataong lugar para hindi na rin makapanghawa.
Tsaka
Diba?
hindi lang man COVID ang binabantay natin.
Yeah.
May whooping cough, di ba? Madami. May leukemia, may tuberculosis, di ba?
At tapos, as of now, di ba, nasabi rin ng DOH sa atin, malamang, maaring dahilan nito kasi wala na tayong, yung nag-wane na yung immunity natin o yung vaccine natin is not updated na to the current variants.
It's only, yung vaccine only covers yung mga past variants.
Exactly.
Okay.
Alright, let's move forward. Iwas muna tayo sa usapin ng mga health natin, but pumunta naman tayo sa education dahil entering our top 5 is the current recognition system in schools. The Education Department has defended its awards and recognition system against criticisms online. The current system has effectively removed the traditional valedictorian, salutatorian, and honorary mention distinctions given to the top 10 students of a batch. Instead, students should at least achieve an average grade of 90 to get an academic award. Some people online pointed out that schools are giving too many academic awards, and yet our students rank low in the Program for International Student Assessment or PISA. Education Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas said the current award system encourages students to focus on learning than competing against their fellow students. He added that PISA is using different parameters in determining the scores of the countries participating in the assessment. Oh, yan ang mga malaki-laking issue din yan over the weekend because may mga magulang ngayon ang nag-aaway online, no, na sumasama yung loob nila dahil nga sabi nila, hindi nyo naman nakikita yung paghihirap na ginagawa ng mga anak namin na nagkaroon sila ng honor, so it's somehow a reward for them, achievement for them. Wag nyo naman i-down yung mga anak namin, maging mas masaya naman kayo para sa kanila.
Alright, to talk more about this, we have DepEd Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to both of you and to all your listeners and watchers.
Yes, thank you po for joining us today. So glad to have you on the show. Ito nga po, no, itong issue na to kasi may ibang mga tao po are saying na yun nga daw po, madali na ngayong maging honor student kumpara noon, siguro mga panahon natin ito Asik, ano, na it's not, it is not daw reflected of the quality of their performance. Ano po yung reaction ng DepEd regarding this?
Hindi naman siguro madaling magka-medal or magka-honor. Nagkataon lang na under our present or our current merit and selection system, mas madami yung na-awardan natin na nakakamit ng ating mga standards. Unlike in the past, that we only limit it to the top 10. But now, there can be more than 10 awardees basta ma-meet nila yung standards.
Yes.
Which is 90 to 94 po yung grade na yun, tama po?
Well, yung with honors, we are
Yes.
from 90 to 94, and then yung average mo ay 95 to 97, that is with high honors, and 97 to 100 is with highest honors.
Yun.
Yes, Asik, may mga nagsasabi po kasi, no, that most from different sectors na baka yung issue also is not really yung curriculum or yung system natin, but rather yung mga ibang teachers, the way they give grades na pinabibigyan na lang daw ang mga estudyante because coming from the pandemic, madaming na nagsasite ng mga mental stress, mga depression, anxiety. So they cut them some slack in terms of giving grades. Ano po ang reaction natin dito?
Well, I would like to believe that that is not true, no? Kasi kung pagbabasehan natin yung ating mga guidelines, may mga objective tayong mga parameters or indicators or criteria na sinusunod ng lahat ng mga teachers natin. So I would like to believe that our teachers are following strictly our guidelines on selection of honor students at hindi pinagbibigyan lang yung mga bata. So I guess we also give credit to the hard work na ginagawa naman ng lahat ng mga estudyante natin para makamit nila ang mga achievements na ganyan.
At ang isa pa po din na tanong dyan, no, nabanggit nyo nga po, na pag-usapan natin kanina, na before, yung mga top 10 ang kinukuha at nagkakaroon po ng kompetisyon. Pero sinasabi nga din po nila dito sa current academic scores na ginagawa natin, isn't this also considered naman na healthy competition?
Well, in a way, but ang objective talaga ng bagong selection or merit system natin is to meet the standards and not compete with others. Anyway, you're not competing for a single slot, but you are competing against yourself to meet a certain standard para makuha mo yung pinakamataas na honors natin. So, nagiging friendly in a way. At syempre, wala nang inggitan yung mga parents or pati mga parents na involved sa mga inggitan na ganyan dahil alam nila na wala namang competition na nangyayari with other learners. At in fact, they are just trying to achieve a certain standard.
Okay, dun isa sa mga naging issue po dito sa usapin na ito ay yung sinasabi na ang daming ang honors ngayon pero yung resulta naman mababa pa rin tayo sa PISA results. Can you explain to us paano po ba yung kasi sabi nga po ninyo, no, iba yung PISA, yung pagkuha ng results sa PISA with regards to the academic status ng mga estudyante sa kanilang mga eskwelahan, but are we optimistic in the future na itong pong mga academic system that we have currently right now ay magkaroon po ng positive impact on our PISA results in the future?
Well, i-explain lang natin, no, yung ating PISA is i-explain lang natin na yung ating PISA ay nakukuha yan, yung ating final score of the country is not merely coming from the exam taken by our learners. Meron din tayo dyan questionnaire para sa ating mga school heads at may questionnaire din para sa ating mga parents. And altogether, sinasummarize yan at kinoconsolidate yan to come up with a final ranking of the country, which is very unlike the ones we are doing in the classroom assessment alone. So hindi natin pwedeng i-compare directly yung i-correlate directly yung result ng ating mga classroom assessments with that of the PISA or the other international large-scale assessments.
But with no doubt naman po that we really need to improve the quality of our education system here in our country. Ano-ano pa pong programa ang ginagawa ng DepEd to, improve nga po ang ating kalidad ng ating edukasyon?
Well, as we have mentioned, yung mga results ng mga international large-scale assessments natin, we are using them as references and feedback for the education sector. Kaya nga nagkaroon na tayo ng revision of our present curriculum, particularly the K-10, at i-implement na nga natin ito in the next school year for kinder grades 1, 4, and 7. So we are confident na yung revised curriculum natin, which is already downloaded at nabawasan na yung ating learning areas and competencies, would eventually redound to better performance in large-scale assessment.
Yes, kasi meron din po tayong issue dyan yung tungkol po sa reading comprehension at sinasabi, taking this opportunity rin po to ask you regarding this kasi we have a program here headed by our Vice President and now DepEd Secretary as well, Sara Duterte, yung reading on Fridays. Is that actually ongoing pa rin?
Yes, we are still going on with our Catch-Up Fridays.
Catch-Up Fridays.
At the same time, ito yung Catch-Up Friday natin is a complement to, Catch-Up Friday is a complement to the present or to the upcoming curriculum that we are going to implement by next year, which will focus on basic foundation skills like reading, literacy, and numeracy.
Lastly na po, how do we make sure po na itong mga eskwelahan natin ay adhering to the standards na binibigay po ng Department of Education, especially nga po dito sa academic system natin, yung scoring or grading system?
Well, our field offices, particularly schools division offices, district offices, are constantly monitoring the implementation of our selection guidelines, including the implementation of all the programs of the department. So constant yung ating monitoring and assessment and evaluation of their implementation.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, DepEd ASEC, Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's move on to the next. Heating up on the fourth spot, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian calls out the Toll Regulatory Board for approving the NLEX toll hike. Gatchalian says the TRB should ensure that major toll operators fix their services first before implementing rate hikes. He also stressed that increasing toll rates should translate into better services for motorists. Starting tomorrow, traveling from Balintawak to Marilao, Bulacan will incur vehicles an additional cost of up to 17 pesos, while traveling between Metro Manila and Mabalacat, Pampanga will cost an additional of as much as 81 pesos.
Yun nga, pinag-usapan natin the last time na this was actually to cover daw their expenses from 2018, since 2018.
And maintenance.
Oo, pero tama naman din si Senator Gatchalian. May point naman siya. Kasi there are times sa pagdating ng pagka-holiday, diba, nagkukumpulan yung mga tao doon, yung mga e-systems, yung payment systems, diba, nagkakaroon ng battle.
Pero in fairness naman, itong huling experience natin ng weekend, very seamless, very stress-free yung travel around NLEX. Especially mga toll gates natin, magaganda naman yung pagbasa.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Switching gears now for our top 3, a recent survey shows that half of Filipino adults support the legalization of divorce. According to SWS, 50% of the respondents agreed that married couples who have already separated and cannot reconcile anymore should be allowed to divorce. Some 31% disagreed with the test statement, while 17% were undecided. Support for divorce was highest among those with live-in partners. Across areas, support was highest among respondents in Metro Manila, followed by those in the rest of Luzon. The net agreement score went down from moderately strong in June 2023 and the record high very strong in March 2023. Okay.
Alright, don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo.
Stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. A happy Monday sa lahat ng mga ka-brunch natin. Thank you for joining us once again to start the week off right.
Yung mga nag-message sa atin, natutuwa daw sila sa brunch natin, sa countdown. Kasi nakasummarize na daw pagdating sa atin.
Oo, sabi nga.
Maintindihan daw nila yung report kasi napagbabante.
Oo, ang sabi pa, minsan di na daw sila nanonood sa bandang gabi. Kasi naintindihan na nila. Plus yung opinion, ha? Bakit?
Oo nga, natatawa ako. Bakit?
Akala ko may nag-joke doon eh. Nawala ako, nakalimutan ko. And happy birthday pala kay Tito Tix.
Bautista. Isa yan sa mga natin na nanonood. Okay.
Alright, game.
Game saan?
Game sa pagbabalita. And on our second spot is the West Philippine Sea dispute. President Marcos reiterated our rightful claim to the West Philippine Sea in his speech in Singapore. This as China recently made baseless accusations against our country. Here's the story.
China has a new accusation against the Philippines amid the tension in the West Philippine Sea. Chinese state broadcaster CCTV reported that the Chinese Coast Guard spotted an armed Philippine vessel in Ayungin Shoal last month. If this is true, China might have an excuse to harass and attack our vessels. However, the Chinese Coast Guard did not show any proof of this allegation. News 5 is also confirming this with the Philippine Navy, Philippine Coast Guard, and other government agencies relevant to this report. Aside from this allegation, China has also a new message against the Philippines and the U.S. They said the restraints amid provocation have a limit. China raised this warning in the Shangri-La Dialogue Forum in Singapore, where President Bongbong Marcos delivered his keynote speech. As expected, the president focused on the issues in the West Philippine Sea. Marcos doubled down on the country's territorial claims against China.
We have submitted our assertions to rigorous legal scrutiny by the world's leading jurists. So the lines that we draw in our waters are not derived from just our imagination, but from international law. We have on our side the 1982 UNCLOS and the binding 2016 arbitral award, which affirms what is ours by legal right.
But even before his speech, several countries have already expressed support to the Philippines about the territorial disputes. This is what AFP Chief of Staff Romeo Bronner said after holding bilateral meetings in the forum.
The reason why we connect with our neighbors, with our like-minded nations, is because we want to show it's not a show of force, rather it's a show of unity.
Bronner did not disclose the leaders who expressed support for the country, but he said the Philippines did not even have to bring the issue on the table during the meeting.
Sila mismo. In fact, ang daming mga bansa, a lot of countries who are here joining the Shangri-La Dialogue would like to have a bilateral meeting with us. Kasi it's not only the Filipino fishermen who are there in the area. We also have Vietnamese, Taiwanese who are there fishing These are common fishing grounds. So, for us Filipinos, we are willing to share the resources.
It was actually
Yeah.
a very courageous speech.
By PBBM.
Last Friday yun
Last Friday.
by PBBM regarding this issue natin sa West
Very
Philippine
strong
Sea.
daw,
Very
strongly
strong.
worded and very firm.
Diba sabi nga niya, I do not yield, Filipinos do not yield. Yun ang mga sinasabi niya. Isa sa mga, kumbaga, diba? Yung quotable quotes na pwede natin makuha from his speech. And sinabi nga niya, any Filipino death from foreign attack triggers US PH Defense Pact. And we monitored the news nung weekend,
yes.
diba? And even the international news organization have been talking about this. And yun nga, pinag-uusapan nila yung naging speech ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos during his keynote speech.
Even other networks that are international networks,
Yeah, international
had
news
different
orgs.
takes on the issue nung weekend and about the statement of President Bongbong Marcos. Mostly in support of the Philippines. And like what General Bronner says naman, ang first order of business natin, first and foremost, is to ensure that all of us can equally access in fishing grounds, diba? Now, while we are in dispute possibly with Vietnam and other countries, that we can all peacefully muna apply our trades there na fishing na walang nagwa-water cannon, walang naninita sa atin. Yun
Walang
ang unang,
tension.
Yes, hence, meron tayong bilateral meeting na ginagawa. Every time we have the opportunity to gather among state or country leaders.
Exactly. And yun nga, sinasabi natin, yung Chinese narrative kasi dito, gusto nila bilateral talks lang between us, no? Ang gusto nila, yung issue should be kept between the stakeholders ng South China Sea.
Yes.
But of course, President Bongbong Marcos, our administration, reiterated na sinasabi nga niya, itong South China Sea dispute natin
West Philippine
involves
Sea.
West Philippine Sea, is a world issue.
And it's not our imagination because we're backed by 1982 UNCLOS and 2016 arbitral ruling, which is based on fact.
Exactly.
And it's binding.
Yun yung kanyang nire-iterate na itong South China Sea or West Philippine Sea peace issue ay world issue ito.
Yeah.
Hindi lang to po pwedeng, kumbaga, usapin lamang ng dalawa o tatlo dahil, yun nga kasi ang sinasabi ng China ini-involve natin ng US. We're involving them too much in this dispute.
And for context lang kasi, China, ang basis nila for claiming yung mga territories na pinag-aawayan is historical accounts. Supposedly based on history na there were settlers in these areas nung unang panahon. May mga sailors na nag-fly ng area doon sa route even before daw it was mapped out by the international community. Yan ang kiniklaim nila. Kaya we have the 9-dash line, naging 10-dash line. Tayo naman, we're basing it on yung agreements between nations. That's why we have the 82 UNCLOS nga. And we also have the arbitral ruling.
It was also quite intriguing during the speech ni President Bongbong Marcos doon kasi na-mention din niya doon na parang hindi tayo dapat pinapapili ng kung sinong kakampihan natin. Diba? So sabi niya, he also reiterated in his speech na ayusin niya yung gulo niyong dalawa, ng China and US. Wag tayong papagitnain dito sa issue na to. Medyo strong din yung statement na yun.
Yeah, basta at the end of the day, ang stance natin is this is our right, this is our territory. In the meantime, kung di tayo nagkakasundo with other nations, pag-usapan muna natin how our citizens or our fishermen can ply their trade without any form of harassment. Without any form of harassment and in peace.
Yun.
Yan.
Alright, let's move forward to our top story for the day. Our top story for today is the bilateral meeting between President Bongbong Marcos and his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky. During the meeting, Zelensky says Ukraine will open an embassy in Manila this year, as reported by Reuters. He also thanked Marcos for what he described as Manila's support and clear position on Russia's invasion. In a phone call with Zelensky in 2023, Marcos expressed unity with the Ukrainian president's quote, search for peace. As he said, the Philippines is watching with admiration on the bravery of Ukrainians amid Russia's attacks. Zelensky's traveled to Manila from Singapore, where he made an appearance at the Shangri-La Dialogue Conference. Actually, he wanted to talk to him. Si Vladimir Zelensky wanted to talk to President Bongbong Marcos in Singapore, pero hindi mag-meet yung schedule nila. That's why he went here na lang, 'di ba? To talk about all of
Alam
these
mo,
things.
very interesting, no? Ano pa yung magiging reaction ng Russia dito? Also.
Yeah.
And also because you have to remember the last administration, our former President Duterte was friendly with Xi Jinping.
Yes.
And is also close friends of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now we have this administration pivoting from Xi Jinping to the US and also from Russia all the way to Ukraine, di ba? So talagang 360-degree turn in terms of foreign policy.
I actually remember kasi when TBS interviewed si former Solgen Hilbay,
Florence Hilbay.
Diba, he reiterated in his interview na mas maigi daw, isa lang ang nagsasalita para sa issue ng West Philippines.
Yeah.
West Philippine Sea, isa lang ang tono, isa lang ang statement, etc. And throughout the course, 'di ba? Pero ang tanong nga diyan is how can you maintain that, kumbaga, one stance, 'di ba? When in fact, ang ating Pilipinas every 6 years nagpapalit ng administration. At kapalit ng pagpapalit ng administration na yan ay pagpalit din ng foreign policy. Depende na lang kung parehas lang ng partido yung pumalit. But then again, yun nga yung sinasabi natin, naiiba lagi yung foreign policy kapag iba yung nakaupo na administration.
We have to understand kasi
kasi yung nga, democracy tayo.
The Philippine electoral system, we have multi-parties. So sabihin natin, we have 6 to 8 parties with different foreign policies. And at the very least, hindi mo may expect na every year papalit. Like in the US, Democrat o Republican lang naman. So, ang chances of a foreign policy shifting, 50-50. Dito, ang dami. May 5 to 10% ka per party, di ba? So, we have to understand na lang na at the end of the day, how one administration, whether opposition or not, can work with the next administration, ensuring na medyo nasa gitna tayo lahat. Because these last two, from 2016 to now, talagang 360-degree foreign policy turn tayo. Di ba? From Russian and China-centric to West and Ukraine, better ties with Ukraine. And we all know Ukraine is a West ally and trying to get into in NATO also.
Kaya nga 'di ba itong kumbaga tour or pag-visit niya sa Asian countries are actually encouraging leaders umattend nga dun sa Peace Summit na gagawin sa Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken.
So anong reaction kaya ng mga Russian
China,
counterparts natin? Because we
Russia,
also have ties with Russia. So,
at magtatayo pa tayo ng embassy
ng Ukraine
dito sa atin. That's a good partnership, kumbaga. Alright.
Oy, thank you pala sa lahat ng viewers natin for sticking with us dito sa Facebook and YouTube accounts. And your comments, thank you sa mga comments nyo. Madami dito. May nag-quote pa ng Bible quote dito.
Papalitan ka na niya.
Ha?
Papalitan ka na niya.
Bible quote about...
Bible quote naman pala.
Oo, galit sa war ito eh. And Cecil Samaniego, blessed morning daw. And si Sam Pokemongo, thank you for watching. Yun.
Right.
I'll catch you again tomorrow, no? And I'd like to leave you with a quote that will start your week right. One man with courage makes a majority. A quote from Andrew Jackson. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunzad Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time. See you tomorrow.